Our presenter today is the District 2 Toastmasters Leadership Training Committee Chair and Vice President Education for her home club. She's been a Toastmaster for over 12 years and served as a Pathways Guide for the launch of Toastmasters International's new education system a few years ago and has done countless trainings since. She sees much value in Pathways and would love for you to see it too. Karen is here today to help you not only make sense of Pathways, but also to make the most of it with her presentation, Seeing the Forest, the Trees, and the Weeds. Please welcome Karen Lezon.
Sometimes we need to see the forest. Sometimes we need to see the trees. Sometimes we got to get right down into the weeds. Today, I'd like to do a little bit of all of that. I'll start with an overview of Pathways, show you some resources to help you understand paths and projects a little better, and give you some tips to help you be successful. I will be sharing my screen, and please, if you have a question during my talk, I may not be able to see you put your hand up. Feel free to interrupt me because a question in the moment usually works a little better. All right, let's start with the forest. Toastmasters provides two very powerful opportunities: a rich education curriculum and a safe place to practice and improve your skills. Those two things, the curriculum plus the meeting experience, work hand in hand to cultivate your growth. The curriculum, as you know, it's called Pathways, and it only rolled out about 5, 6, 7 years ago. And it's still going through some growing pains, but it offers so much, not only lessons in presentation, but also in leadership development and project management and conflict resolution, just to name a few of the many projects that are in there. So let's take a look. All of the places I'm going to take you today are websites, and I promise it's really obvious, but I also promise I will send Heidi a list of all of the sites that I show you today. So this is just toastmasters.org. I'm not logged in or anything. I'm going to go to Education Programs, Pathways, Paths and Projects. And here are the 11 paths that make up Pathways. Now, as you no doubt heard, a change is coming in Pathways. They're going to change the software platform that the paths live on. The paths are going to be the same, but they're not going to offer all of these paths on the new platform. That doesn't mean you can't finish a path, and it may mean, I don't know, I don't have any insider information. It also may mean that the paths that they're not offering on the new platform will still be available on the old platform to start. When this is going to happen, anyone's guess. At the D2 conference, I talked to the VP, the second VP of Toastmasters International, and he told me probably December. That'll be less disruption, but we shall see. Then you can bring me back and I'll tell you all about the new platform. But the paths are going to be the same. All right, so the basic structure is going to be the same, and that's what we're going to go over right now. So I'm just going to pick one of these. And we're going to open it up. It's also a little slow. There we go. And here's what a path looks like. Now, I've just picked one of them, but they all have 5 levels. And each level builds on the one before it. As you can see, level 1 is mastering fundamentals. Now, level 1 has the same projects in every single path, all right? It's not different in any of the paths because it's the fundamentals. So those are going to be the same. There are 4 projects in Mastering Fundamentals. If you're new to Toastmasters, if you're a brand new Toastmaster, and some of you are, or soon to be, you should do these projects in the order that you see them. But these projects don't have numbers. So in levels 2, 3, 4, you do not have to do the projects in the order within the level. If you're new to Pathway, if you're new to Toastmasters, however, I suggest that you do the levels in order. So after the Mastering Fundamentals, there's a level called Learning Your Style. This is almost the same in every project, every path, but not quite. In this particular one, Dynamic Leadership, you can see that there's understanding your leadership style, understanding your communication style. Those two things, one of those is in every path. And then Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring is in every path. And that's an important one also, because it basically introduces you to mentoring, and the speech you give is about a time in your life that you were mentored, and it can be positive or negative. Then you go on to level 3. Now, levels 3, 4, and 5 each have a unique project. They're unique generally to that path. So in this case, for dynamic leadership, the level 3 unique project is negotiate the best outcome. And then there's a list of electives. And you will choose 2 of these electives. The electives are almost the same in every single path as well. And there's a lot of choices, and there's a lot of interesting things that you can do. There's deliver social speeches. So for instance, if you're going to be giving a speech at a wedding or a funeral, make connections through networking, prepare for an interview, or one of my favorite, research and presenting, which I think is a terribly important project. You can learn a lot from that. Go on to level 4, building your skills. Now, level 4 projects start to get a little more involved. And again, there's a unique project. This one's called Manage Change. And in this case, you pick one of the electives. These are also nearly the same in every single path. And these have really interesting things too. So for instance, create a podcast. So the project is for you to create a project. The speech you're going to give is about that experience. You're going to be, every one of these projects, you're going to be speaking, you're going to be giving a speech. So you're going to be gaining confidence no matter what path you pick. You're going to be speaking all the time. Then level 5 is demonstrating your expertise. In this case, the unique project is lead in any situation, and then you will pick one of the electives. Now, some of these electives can take as long as 6 months to a year to complete and may involve 2 or 3 speeches that you'll have to give, but it depends on the project. One of the projects, Prepare to Speak Professionally, is learning how to give a keynote type speech. It's 18 to 20 minutes long. Some of the other let's see, the moderate a panel discussion. You wouldn't necessarily give a speech for that, but you will have to do lots of preparation, and you'll be speaking because you're going to be gathering a panel of people. It can be a lot of fun. I've been to a few of those. Then you'll also see another thing here in level 5 called Reflect on Your Path. Now, that is in every single path, and that's actually not part of level 5. It's outside of level 5. You finish level 5, and then you do your reflection, and you've completed your path completely. So are there any questions on anything I've laid out here?
I don't have a question, Karen, but I just want to let people know that one of our members, Bridget, did that reflect on your path, and that particular speech is on our website. You can watch it straight from our website.
Yeah, that actually is a really fun project to do. And it's really educational for people in your club to see. So yeah, I highly recommend. That's great that you recorded it and you have it out there. All right. All right. Well, if we're done with this, now let me mention for another place to go here at the very bottom of, all right, we're going to go back to education programs. At the very bottom here, there's a link to pathways updates. There's also a link to education program FAQs. Might want to look at that. Could answer a lot of questions. But in the pathways updates, it talks about the changes that are coming in the new software platform. And down here, it does list the 6 paths that will launch with the new platform in case. And so my suggestion is if you haven't picked a path yet, pick one of these. So you'll get onto the new platform. And these 6 were picked out of the 11 because they're the most popular. All right. So how do you pick a path? Right? You've got these 11 different paths. How on earth are you going to pick one if you haven't picked one yet? And a couple of you haven't. There is a website, and it's from District 4. So we're in District 2. This is District 4 down near San Francisco. And they just have a great website. And what I love about this is it has a description of every single project in every single path. So my tip to pick a path is to look at a few of these, and maybe you have in mind which ones you might be interested in. Go to that path and look at the level 5 project, that unique project I was talking about. Does this excite you? Is this something you want to do? So for instance, I picked visionary communication, and the level 5 is develop your vision, and it describes it and what's expected of you. Is that something you want to do? Because you're going to have to do, this is a required project. So you want to take a look at that before you pick the path. Also look at the level 4 project. Is that something that you're interested in, as well as the level 3? Just take a look at a few of these different level 3, 4, and 5 unique required projects and find a path that really excites you. Because if you're interested in the subjects, then you're going to be more successful. This is also a great website for when you're trying to decide which elective you're going to do. So here, all the electives are here for each of for levels 3, 4, and 5, and there's a description of them. Now you can get to the description on the software platform that Pathways lives on now, but I'm telling you, it's a real pain in the neck. This is really simple. Go here and look at these. And you can, if you're thinking about doing a couple of different electives, you can read about it and see what is expected of you. All right, any questions? All right, let's get a little more into the weeds. And so I'm going to log in. And is there anything in particular you guys want to see? Let me know. So the other thing that I think is really important is really working on the projects. Projects have a lot of good material in them. When in the old version, in our legacy curriculum, we had a booklet. And there was a couple pages about the project. And it had good information. But the projects online here, there's a lot more information. And there's links to references and Toastmaster articles that can really help you.
Karen, I have a question.
Sure.
So you mentioned that in level 5, some of the projects can take up to a year to complete.
Mhm.
I'm kind of wondering, like, how long does it take to complete a whole pathway?
Well, that's entirely up to you. How quickly you guys meet every week. So you could, I mean, how many speeches do you usually have in a meeting? 3? A lot of people can give speeches, and so you can go through pretty quickly. Now, it depends on which projects you pick in 4 and 5, how quickly you can get through those. But you can do you can do paths simultaneously. You can start another path while you're working on a project that takes much longer. So there's one project called the High Performance Leadership Project, and it's the same project that we had in our legacy program. In fact, a lot of the curriculum is the same as we had in the legacy program. It's just been added to. The high performance leadership, you get a committee of at least 3 people, and they help you with your leadership project. And your project is something that is in some organization. It could be at work, it could be in Toastmasters, it could be in another volunteer organization that you might belong to. And you're doing some leadership project with some sort of scope, et cetera. And these people are helping you. And you give 3 speeches, I believe. You give a speech to explain what you're going to do, speech how it's going, and then a speech how it ended up. So that takes a long time. But you can imagine that another one would be the speaking professionally, preparing to speak professionally, and you have to prepare 18 to 20-minute speech. It's not going to take you 6 months to do that. You might want to practice that long, but it's not going to take you that. You'll be building up to it. So yeah, it's entirely up to you how quickly you go. I mean, this is however you want to do it. This is for you. All right, let's go to base camp. And you can see I belong to a few clubs. And I'm not going to go over a lot of this because this is going to disappear. It's going to be different. But I'm going to go to Paths in Learning. And you can go to your path, open curriculum. And there you can see all your projects. You can click on any level and it shows you your projects. And this is a little check mark I was talking about. You have to, once you get through your project, you want to be sure that you do that quiz at the end. After you've given your speech and everything, that you completed your project, you got to let the software know that you've completed your project. Because when you get check marks on all of your projects, then a button will show up for the level completion. And you got to hit that, and an email is going to go off to your Vice President of Education. And then and that person is going to okay it, hopefully. They probably witnessed you doing your projects. And then they'll go to Club Central and they'll say, this person finished this level, and you will be awarded that level.
Karen, I have a question.
Sure.
Being the old guy in the club, I have a distrust of all things computer related. And is there anything else besides, I picked up on that you do the quiz at the start and the end, those self quizzes. Is there anything else that would trick it up? If you're following all the steps, that's the one thing that's going to mess you up if you don't do the 2 quizzes, right? Is there anything else like that I need to be aware of?
Nope. I mean, you want to go through the project. And it doesn't take long to go through the project. It's like 15, 20 minutes, and it's got some really good information. Let's go back. Go to the top here. but that's critical for to clue into the software. So no, there isn't anything else that you need to know. Just don't do it before you've actually completed it. And try and keep that straight. So there's usually a introduction, learn about your project. So I just opened one of the projects, and it might be a little video or something. There'll be some directions on how to do stuff, and there's information on what you're going to be learning, introduction. Then it'll talk about what your assignment is. And on this page, there's a project checklist. And I suggest you take a look at it. Most projects are pretty straightforward. You go through your project, you you get ready for your speech, you write it, you schedule it, give it, get your evaluation done, and you're done. But some projects are a little more involved. So you do want to check out the project checklist. And then here's this quiz, the assessment that I talked about. So you go through that. And then you go into your project, into the actual curriculum. And there's a lot of great stuff in here. I'm going to skip to the end. There's a page called Evaluation and Resources. So it talks, so you've gone through your project, you are getting ready to write your speech, or you already have written your speech. And then you can go back here. There's resources that may have been here for that were provided for you throughout the project, but they're also right here. Also here is where you'll find your evaluation resource that you send to your evaluator, the person who's going to be giving you the oral evaluation. And then you've done that, and then you do another video, and then you do your assess your skills after, and then you're done. You'll get that little check mark on the training detail here. Any other pathways questions at all?
Karen, one thing that we don't really do in our club is use the evaluations that Pathways provides. That we probably should be.
Well, so the evaluation form is twofold. It's proof that you did the project. So let's say that you go to another club, you leave for a while, and your path stays with you. So, and then you come back to Toastmasters. Something happened in your life and you're gone for 6 months. You come back, you still have that path and you still have that provision, but you've gone to another club. You need to have that proof for the VPE that you did this project. Another way that is proof that you did these projects and did complete your level is the notes, if you have notes for each meeting. I mean, I don't know if you have meeting notes. I mean, you have agendas, but agendas are before the fact. It doesn't say that you actually did give that speech. And I noticed that London gave a speech today, but I have no idea what project it was. So it's helpful if on the agenda you put which path is nice, but also which project, what it's called, and maybe a quick description. What's the purpose? That helps everybody in the club know what you're trying to do.
I have a question. This might be
Sure.
more for our club president, but how is pathways and pathway completion important or helpful to our club? I understand it's a personal resource and tool to educate yourself, but does it also relate to our club in any way?
I'll go ahead and answer that, even though I have the red. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. So yes, your club can get points within the district for completing a certain number of levels, for your club completing the levels. And, it's just a goal. And the goal is to keep people working. That's basically what goals are for, right? You give yourself goals so that you'll work on it, even when you don't feel like it. and it's called the Distinguished Club Program. And that's a whole nother speech, but that's something that where your levels, the people that are getting levels, that's where that shows up.
Peter has done that speech for us many times, and we probably should have him do it again. One of the things I've done when I've been president is at the beginning of the year, I have people go around the room and say what pathway they're in and how many speeches they're planning on doing over that year, or how many levels they're planning on doing. So,
Right.
Hannah, you asked that question. You might say, well, how many speeches do I think I can give this year? Can I give 4? Can I give 8? If you can give 8, you can do 2 levels. So, that's kind of how it rolls up, and we can talk more about that another time. So, yeah, that's all I'll say.
Okay, well, I'm going to wrap up. To recap what we've talked about, I want you to pick a path that means something to you. It'll make a big difference in your experience. And be intentional. Really work the projects and take advantage of all the resources that Toastmasters offers, particularly Toastmasters Magazine. They have some great articles in there. But also giving speeches and taking roles in your club. Everybody is helping everybody. That's how it works. And the third thing, the most important thing, is have fun. Have a good time while you're doing this. You're helping yourself, you're helping your fellow Toastmasters, but it's better when you're all having a good time. I'm going to leave you with 2 quotes. Abraham Lincoln once said, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." Then Betty Davis once said, "The key to life is accepting challenges. When someone stops doing this, he's dead." So I call on you to take advantage of everything that Toastmasters has to offer. Enjoy the forest, walk among the trees, pick some flowers. I call on you to challenge yourself and to create your future.